Give him friggin' hell, Johnny. Don't worry about nothing.
Hey, Dad. Goodbye.
It's not goodbye, son. See you later.
It's simply Craig on the
Welcome to the hangout. To the hangout. Welcome to the hangout.
Hey.
Yeah.
You have just entered the Hangout experience. And you know, always, it is that P-R-I-C-E. And who do I have on that review with me?
Yowie wowie, ladies and germs. It is your boy X, the unannounced, aka Daddy Long Legs today, because I'm a little tired. So welcome back to this Father's Day experience. Cause y'all know nobody can review it like we review it.
We thank you for your time, because I mean, come on, man. You know, we already know you could be doing something else, but you're here with us. You feel me? So
Anywhere in the world, Craig, but you're here with us.
But you're here with us.
Appreciate it.
And so this time,
It takes two to tango, dog.
Yeah.
So we can't do the mamas
without the daddy.
And doing the pappies.
You feel what I'm saying? You got to have it. Or like we like to call them right here, the black fathers, all right? And X, we know the game. We know how this goes. I mean, we're in it. We hear the narratives, right? And we know the narrative is the black fathers are not in the house. They're not taking care of the kids. They're not, they're not around. And, people make all kind of jokes about fathers not being around and so forth and so on. That's the narrative that's pushed. But let me tell you, that's not the case, man. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Narrative Nancy, as I like to call it.
Exactly. But that's what they want you to think. Okay. But that's just not how it is. You understand what I'm saying? I know plenty of black fathers who are there for their kids and have been there for their kids and still there for their kids.
I would say if anybody knows anything, it's my partner, P-R-I-C-E.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You feel me?
Speak from firsthand personal experience.
Exactly. That part. And I even with my own, you know what I'm saying? My own father, was there. Okay. So like there. So what I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, is we chose a movie that basically goes against the narrative. All right. Flips the narrative up on his head, because this is a father who was absolutely there for his son from beginning all the way to the end. And that movie is John Q.
John Quincy, dog.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what's funny though? Because his initials are basically kind of like John Quincy Adams, you know what I'm saying? President and everything. So that's actually funny, but they named him Archibald. So technically, we got kind of a presidential, acronyms. You know what I'm saying? So that's actually kind of cool.
Innuendos?
Yeah. I didn't even think about that till just then. So how about that?
Look at that, brother. Always telling the narrative in between the lines.
Got to do it. But of course, before we get into anything, we got to catch you up on it. So, and I'm pretty sure there's probably some people who have not seen John Q. Now, this was a movie that was released in 2002, so it's got some age on it. But I mean, come on, man. What they say, oldie but goodie. Some stuff is just timeless, and believe me,
oldie but goodie, dog.
It is a timeless movie.
And especially when the leading character is a timeless actor as well. But we'll get into that when we get to the cast.
Absolutely. Because there's something that about you in this movie that I definitely want to make known to our listeners. But I can't do that, bro, unless my partner in them plays that beautiful bean footage.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Quincy, aka John Q, the trailer.
Lieutenant Frank Grimes of Chicago Police Department. Are you the man in charge?
That's right.
Well, who am I speaking to?
John Q.
I assume since all the doors are locked, this is a hostage situation. Is that correct?
Okay. Bless me, Father, for I've sinned. I know you do things your own way,
Blood pressure is dropping fast. He's going into cardiac arrest.
but I don't understand.
Mike's heart is useless. He's going to need a transplant or he's going to die.
What make Mike so sick?
Transplant surgery is very expensive.
We got insurance.
There are no provisions in your policy for a procedure of this magnitude.
All right, you want money? I'll get you your money.
We've recently switched carriers.
We only give assistance to patients without coverage. I'm sorry I can't help you.
Have you tried Medicaid?
No, you don't qualify. My son is dying. I'm broke. If I don't qualify, who the hell does?
I've done everything I can do. I'm sorry.
Please.
They are releasing him. Now you need to do something.
I'll take care of it.
Hear me? Do something.
The hospital's under new management now. Everybody does exactly what I say. Nobody will get hurt. Or hurt. I want my kid's name on the donors list.
This is gonna end up bad for you, John.
Police will do whatever is necessary to preserve the lives of these hostages.
They're telling me I gotta take my son home and watch him die.
If you could speak to John Q right now, what would you say to him? I'm there with you and you can take care. 5:15, when something happens to me.
Are you praying for him, baby?
Yes, I'm praying, sweetheart.
He's a good kid.
You'd like him.
I am not gonna bury my son.
I got a shot at this guy and I'm gonna take it.
My son is gonna bury me.
Take the shot.
How's it gonna end, John?
I don't know.
And we don't know either.
Woo!
We don't know how it ends either, y'all.
You know, even the trailer is powerful. You know what I'm saying? You listen,
Man.
man. Come on, bro. Denzel.
Man, you know.
Denzel.
Who's cutting onions, man? You know. I can smell it through the mic, man. I can smell the onions, man. Who's chopping onions?
Eyes welling up a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah, man, just do it.
you know, Denzel is Denzelin', bro. Like that's what I'm saying. He's at his peak,
Maybe
man.
there's something in my eye. Maybe there's just something in my eye.
Little eyelash, you know what I mean? Little eyelash, you know, getting your eyeball.
Yeah.
So okay, so speaking of Denzel, man, because we want to run right into this cast. We want to let you know who these players
Get to
are.
it. Let's get to it.
So of course we have Denzel Washington playing John
himself.
Quincy Archibald. You know, yeah, man, I bro, I cannot wait to get this one. We got Anne Heche playing Rebecca Payne. Introducing Daniel E. Smith. Okay, he was playing Mike Archibald, and he was introduced in this movie. And then of course we have the fabulous, you know, Kimberly Elise playing Denise Archibald. R.I.P. man, R.I.P. to that boy. Salute to Ray Liotta. Now I know y'all know Ray Liotta. I mean, man, this is Henry from you know, from Goodfellas. I mean, you know what I mean. So this is just.
Come on now. Talk about it, man.
This is Hollywood royalty right here, man. So R.I.P. Last thing I saw him in was 1992 with Tyrese. And here's my thing: if you're going to go out, you know what I'm saying, you go out with a bang. And he bodied his role.
Way to go out, huh?
Come on, bro.
Way to go out.
He bodied his role.
As he has been throughout his career, honestly, you know, he don't have many misses.
No, he
To be
doesn't.
honest with you.
He doesn't.
Blackbird and Shades of Blue, and you know,
Yep.
but I'm stepping into the other realm. But he don't miss.
No. He's one of those actors, man, that when he's on screen, you know, you're definitely locked in on him. And he has a way of being. He has a unique way of being a bad guy that you cheer for, that you like. You know, because even in Goodfellas, technically he was a bad guy. You feel what I'm saying? You know, so
Exactly. But a lovable bad guy.
a lovable bad guy.
You grew to love him.
Absolutely. That's superb acting right there. So definitely shout out to Ray Liotta, man, playing Chief Gus Monroe. And James Woods, man. I have always liked James Woods, always respect him as an actor. He's another person who bodies his role. He's definitely another person who can be sort of the bad guy, but turn out to be the good guy and play play a lot of duality. He's good at duality. And I think that's kind of the same in this movie, because depending on the lens that you look through, he could be a bad guy to you, you know, or he could have turned out to be a good guy. So that's our main cast, and of course we got other supporting actors in there that we'll touch on as we get to this review. The first thing I want to let them know is that this was your first time viewing this movie, right?
yeah. I will say, ladies and gentlemen, Price has been, not pushing, but he's been asking.
I have.
Hey, you should check this out.
Uh-huh.
You should check this out.
Uh-huh.
So I just want y'all to know, hangers, Price has been trying to get this movie reviewed for a little minute now.
Absolutely. But it has to happen when it's supposed to. You know, and I get that, man. And I'm gonna be honest with you, just from everything that has transpired in both our lives, I think this was, just where perspectives are and everything. So I'm not actually mad about it, man.
Agreed.
Yeah. My thing is, there's definitely a generational distance between us. And one of the reasons I wanted you to look at it because I know where I was in life at that time in 2002. You were much younger at that time. The concerns that this man had.
7.
You were 7?
7 to be exact.
Good grief.
7 years old.
Whew. So you still running around in your Fruit of Looms, man.
No. The release of the movie came before my birthday, so technically I was still 6 years old.
How about that?
I hadn't turned 7 yet.
You were younger than Mike was in this movie. Mike is 9. Okay, so you 3 years younger. Yeah. So my point is that I was older at the time. I was actually a grown man, and I could relate to what he was saying, for having a kid. I could understand, the intensity, what I'm saying, that he had for like, hey, you have backed me into a corner. I have no other choice but to do what I'm doing right now. So I understand it. And so now with you being, of age and you watching this, a movie that was 20 years older, I felt like your perspective on this will be really important as well, because does that still ring true to this day? Does what he did still hold up to this day? Would somebody this day and time do what he did if he was backed into that corner? So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like you needed to hear his perspective as someone who at that time was, like he said, was 6 years old and now watching this movie for the first time. So that's what we do here, y'all. We have a bit of a generation distance, you know what I mean? But I trust X and his, outlook on things, because he's a very intelligent man. And so I know when he's saying this, he's giving it from his heart, but he's giving it from a logical standpoint as well. So I just had to put that out there, man. That's our little disclaimer real quick. We'll get to the review. I know y'all like, hey, man, when y'all gonna review the movie, man? We gonna get to it, but we just had to do a little setup, man. So
listen, y'all popcorn just came out that microwave anyway. So now, you know what I'm saying? Y'all just got y'all snacks. Y'all just got cozy with us.
They just got comfortable. They just settled in. Okay.
Yeah, they just settled in with us. So now we about to move into it. We're gonna get y'all the main event.
They done sent that last text, so now they can pay attention. All right, let's go. All right, so
that's it.
Here's the overview, guys. This is and the overviews we give you is not what we made up. This is what we get, from the internet. It says the story centers on a man whose 9-year-old son is in desperate need of a life-saving transplant. When he discovers that his medical insurance won't cover the cost of the surgery and alternative government aid is unavailable, John Q. Archibald, played by Denzel Washington, takes a hospital emergency room hostage attempt to save his child. This movie was directed by Nick Cassavetes, and the budget was $36 million. Hey, but it had a box office of 102 million, so they definitely made their money. Yeah, they made their money. For sure. And that was very good back in 2002. Now, if anybody's ever wondered about the inspiration of this movie, the director, his own daughter, Sasha, had a congenital heart defect, which inspired the film. That's cool. That's actually really cool. You know what I'm saying? That he would do that.
Nothing like pulling from real life.
Yeah. And you know what's funny though, man? The way that it's directed, you can feel that. Now knowing that absolutely makes sense. That's why it was so heartfelt, because that's exactly the type of things that he went through. Now here's the part that kind of upsets me, and I gotta say it, man. This movie only got 26% on Rotten Tomatoes, man.
Oh, what?
26%, man. Listen, man.
No.
That's just disrespectful to Denzel and everybody in this movie, even the director. That's just disrespectful. So I feel some kind of way about that. I'm sorry, y'all. I digress. Now, there's certain things that happen in this movie. For example, the scene where George W. Bush is speaking about healthcare while John and Denise are watching television. There was also shot with footage of Al Gore, because the election winner had not been declared at the time of the shooting. So they actually didn't know who was going to be president. So they shot both scenes just in case. Now that's some foresight, right? That's like, yo, I don't know who it is, just in case. So that was actually cool, man. Cool bit of knowledge to know.
Which is good to kind of cover your backside.
Mm-hmm.
They say filming took place in 2000, so that's around election time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So why not just say, hey, just in case, then we already know who to go with, so we can still make it feel current.
That part. Now just quick other RIP real quick. Anne Heche, she did pass away in August 11, 2022. So if you are a fan of her and you did not know that, just a little tidbit for you. And of course, I think a lot of people know that Larry King passed away January 23rd, 2021. Okay, so John Q. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. We chose this movie because it definitely represents a father, a black father, and just an all-around real man. And what better movie to talk about on Father's Day? Now, I remember watching this movie for the first time, and even back then, it got to me. I mean, it was like, wow. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm man enough to say the waterworks was there. I mean, the fields were there. There are just certain parts in there where you just understand the frustration. You understand the love that he has for his son, and if you feel anything for anybody, it'll bring that out of you. And so I know a lot of us feel that way about our fathers. Some of our fathers are here, some of our fathers are not. Condolences to all you out there who have lost your father. And if you had that relationship with your father, I know that around about this time is hard for you. But that's why we wanted to do this movie, because, hey, sometimes it's good to get it out, so if this movie brings the feels and get, shed some tears, it's good, but these are happy tears. These are tears that make you feel like, wow, man, my father would have done the same thing for me, and that's just what I feel. I feel like my father would have done the same thing for me. So going into this movie, y'all, basically what we find out is we got a family who they're struggling. Okay. They're struggling. They're living check to check. The first thing that we even see is the car being repoed. And I don't know if anybody have gone through that. That is a terrible feeling to go out there. You know what? You know what's even worse? Like, he went out there with the car being hooked up and being driven away, right? A lot of us wake up and the car is just gone.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say, Price. I said I think that is being able to get out there and fight for your car, or at least holler at the guy. I'll take it. But when you wake up, you get dressed, you about to go get you some food, or you gotta go to work, whatever the case may be, and your car is not where you parked it,
bruh,
and your heart drops right into your butt cheeks,
bruh. Right.
It's a different kind of pain, dog. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I'm with you.
It is.
Absolutely with you.
It is, man. Because the first thought is, did somebody steal my car? You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what happened. You don't just know your car is gone. And then that's second.
Did I lock the door? Did I roll up on the windows? What? Did I miss something?
Right.
No, I could have swore I locked the door. No, it can't be that. You just replay a lot of stuff in your mind because you about to have a bad day. Let's just say that.
You really are. Because first, like you said, if it's when you're going to work, then now you have to call your job and tell them, hey, I'm gonna be late, and it's embarrassing because you got to tell them why. You know what I mean? And then, just like John Q, if you have a woman and a son that have to go to work and have to go to school, you have to now go in there as a man and tell them, yeah, the car just got repoed. And your wife looking at you like, excuse me? You know, like, what you mean? You mean my car got repoed? Why did it get repoed? You know, well, baby, you know, my check was short and I haven't been working many hours, and you know, and that's where we start off. So we do understand that.
Or sometimes, I was gonna say, or price. Sometimes you got to make a decision. Like John Q said, he said it was either the house or the car.
Yeah.
I ain't want them to throw us out on the street. So
yeah.
They had to. You got to make the hard choices sometimes.
Absolutely.
Regretfully so, but you know.
And he chose what he thought was best for his family. I would much rather have a roof over your head than, you know what I'm saying, a car. We just sleeping in the car, you know, packed up in the vehicle. So technically, that was the right decision. You know what I'm saying? Now that makes it be subjective to some people. Like, well, if you had a car, you could have just drove to a hotel or something. I don't know. Somebody might feel some other kind of way. I personally, yes, give me door number 2. So that's where we are. We won't say that they're just you know, completely down and out, but there is some poverty involved. You know, they are struggling, you know, to keep a roof over their head, keep a car, keep their son fed, so forth and so on. The kids, they don't know, right? All they know is mom and daddy provide. That's all they know. They don't know about all the other stresses that they go through, which is actually why we get mad at the kids sometimes. Because, you know, when they mess up or do something, you like, fool, do you know what I gotta go through just to keep some food on your belly? And
but that's the cycle, my brother. No, we don't know at 9 years old. We definitely don't know. Yeah. But 29, 39.
Oh
49?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know like a mug.
We understand now. Listen, we apologize in spurts.
Right.
Listen, I know I was a handful when I was little.
Right.
I ain't really mean it.
Right.
You know I ain't know what was going on for real. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mean to be a handful.
Yep.
Perspective. That's all.
Yeah. And hopefully when we do get this age, we are able to go back and like, hey, I get it. You know what I'm saying? So let me do some things for you now. You know what I mean? Let me take care of you. Let me help you with some things. And so yeah, you're absolutely right, bro. That cycle, and so, you know, he made his decision. And what I do like, I will say this. So please hear me out, y'all. She was upset, visibly, and no doubt about it, and rightfully so. You know, like, come on, man, I just lost my car. What am I gonna do, right? You kind of go into panic mode and you feel in some kind of way. But she didn't hold on to it. You know what I mean? You know, she felt her little anger for a second, and then they kind of exchanged some looks, and you know what I mean? And her thing basically was, fine. Hey, can you give me a ride to work? You know? And yeah, so, you know, that's real to me, man. You feel what I'm saying? Like, yes, you're upset, and the closest person to you is your husband, and it feels like it's his fault at the time, but come on, you know what I'm saying? You know what's going on. You know, the man's losing hours. Sometimes it's a struggle for minorities, you know what I mean? Sometimes we don't get the opportunities or weren't getting the opportunities at a time. And you could kind of see it settled in, like, you know what? My man has it hard enough being a black man, going through day to day. Let me not add on to that.
He's trying his best.
He's trying his best.
At the end of the day.
Yeah. You know, I got a good man. I know he means well. Let me let that go. And so then the next thing that we see, you know, they're in the car and they're singing, and, you know, they're playing their I Spy-ish type of games, and, you know, and all this stuff like that. And I was like, that's beautiful, because after all of that, they still have them though. You know what I mean? Regardless of the cars and the place to live, we still have us as a family, and let's still try to bring some joy in our lives. You know what I mean? So I was like, that's what's up. As they dropped the kid off and he dropped her off to work, you could see it mending. You know what I'm saying? The relationship mending just that quick. And I was like, they have a strong bond. And I bring that up, ladies and gentlemen, because we will bring that back later on in this review. That right there.
We just started the circle, y'all. Circle comes full circle. So we just drew the opening part of it. So we'll be back.
And so what we're seeing with this family is there's definitely a tight bond. He also has a friend that works, now I don't know if they knew each other before work or they met while they was at work and just, established that bond with them. But he has a friend, and a Caucasian friend, as a matter of fact. And, you could tell that he himself as well, he, he's at the same kind of job and he has his struggles as well. He has his wife and everything like that, but they're really close to John and his wife. And again, like I said, I love that. I just love it. It's like, look here, man, forget the skin tones and whatever. We financially, you know what I'm saying, or the same. You understand what I'm saying? We struggling. We just trying to make it just like y'all are. And they had a really beautiful friendship. And even to the point where this family comes and supports John's family when their son goes to play baseball. Now their son loves bodybuilding. He is very much into bodybuilding, not wrestling. This is not wrestling. This is bodybuilding. There's a difference, as Mike like to let him know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, my bad. They lost me right there. But I get it because, some of my favorite wrestlers were bodybuilders back in the day. So I get it. Similar world.
Two different things. But yeah, man. So, that's his thing, that's, he's so much into it. He knows the bodybuilders, like fat percentage and everything, like 2% fat, 80% muscle. And I'm like, good grief. You know what I mean? Like he is on it, man. So, I like that.
He was perfecting his poses, man. He was young and knew what he wanted to do with his life, so that he was just perfecting the poses, man. That's all it was.
And that was cool. And it kind of reminds you how it felt to be a kid at that time, a 9-year-old kid, right? You got the whole world ahead of you. You can be whatever you want, right? You know what I'm saying? So, you would think, hey, I'm gonna be a bodybuilder. You know what I mean? Now, it don't always turn out like that for us, but it is cool to be a kid and have a vast imagination and say, you know what, I just want to be whatever I want to be. So that's cool. I like watching him, and I think as a first time actor, a child actor, I think he did a great job, man. Just portraying what it was to be a kid at that time, and you just like to play, and you know what I'm saying. You just like to be around your parents,
Captured that child essence. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Really embodied the role. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he did. And he made you feel for him right off. Like you like Mike. Even there's a part when he says it in the movie, like, you would like him. He's a great kid. You would like him, and you would. Like, you like Mike as soon as you see him. You're like, that's a cool kid. And Mike plays baseball as well. So we know he's into bodybuilding. We know he's active with baseball. We see that both his parents, even though, bro, they're struggling and they're going through all the things they're going through, they still go and support their kid for baseball because they just want to make a better life for him. They're already like, look, dude, we're where we are, but you don't have to be where we are. And we want to get you involved with activities and support you. And so you just see that they're a really good family, man. And that's why this next scene hits so hard, bro. It's because you want to set it up for me?
We're going to have to break it to him, man. Listen, you know what I'm saying? It's a very, very beautiful, imagine you get off work, got enough time, you and the missus, y'all get together after work, watch your son play baseball, do what he loves, you know what I'm saying? Bases are loaded, everything's set up, your son, he get up to the plate, you're cheering him on, strike, okay, cool, you know what I'm saying? No problem. I don't see what the umpires see, but it's cool.
Hey, but Mama, you saw Mama right there? She's like, wait a minute, are you blind? What's wrong with you? Right? She more crunk than John Q.
You feel me? You feel me? That the umpire was, he wasn't, Denise was on it.
Yeah.
Okay. She wasn't playing. She wasn't playing about Mike.
Black Mama, by the way. Oh, that's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
Black Mama. So then, you got 2 more tries. He knocked the other one. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Enough for him to not only, transition, let his batmate get to second, and he's safe on first, it's a little discombobulation. Oh, what that mean? Let's go steal some bases. That's what that means. So you got your second baseman running for third, and your son is trying to steal second, right? But in the middle of stealing second, he just collapses. You in a proud parental moment.
Yeah.
But your son just collapses.
And did you notice how when they showed Denzel's face, like even before he officially collapsed, as soon as he started holding his heart, you see they showed Denzel and he knew instantly something's wrong. Something is wrong. Yeah.
You could tell you saw the facial expression where it was that proud joy to worry and sorrow. Wait. And then to watch your son just collapse.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on. Mind you, we already told y'all how the day started for him, right? But we already told you how it started with the family.
Right.
You take your son to school, y'all having y'all little quips back and forth. He's having a good day at school. He come out of school. Everything is exactly how it usually is. Now all of a sudden, he collapses in the middle of a baseball game.
Yeah. And now everything is dialed up to 10 because we don't know what's going on. They don't know what's going on, but we just know, wait. Hold on. Let's get Mike to the hospital ASAP. They didn't wait to call 911, but nothing. You know what I'm saying? He picked up his son. He ran to the truck, got him in there. You know what I mean?
We gotta go.
Hightail to the hospital.
Go.
Yeah.
And we gotta go now.
Absolutely. Bust through the front door like, hey. I don't know what y'all got going on in here, but y'all need to see he's not breathing. You know? And as soon as they got through there too, man, I mean, like, hey, they were on it. They were on it. I you got to give it to the hospital staff. I don't know what that one doctor was working on with that one guy, but she was like, apparently he ain't in this position. Let me get on over here and see about this kid. And dude, this is where it starts, bro. Because and I'm glad you reminded them, like, y'all saw how the day started. Now the day started with, yes, car being repoed, but then we singing and we quipping in the car and so forth and so on, and then now we heading to the baseball game. So it started to get better. But they're showing you, like, this is life. This is what some people actually go through, to where they can have a bad day, then the day gets a little better, and then all of a sudden the day gets absolutely worse. And this day got absolutely worse because what we find out is this 9-year-old lovable, active kid has a heart problem. His heart is like three sizes larger than what it's supposed to be. And you just find that out about your kid, man, and you don't know. Now, here's what they definitely made evident in there. Now, they don't say his education, but they definitely have moments where certain things need to be explained to him a certain kind of way. Not that he's slow or anything like that, but some people who do a certain profession, like doctors, for example, doctors are used to talking in certain terminologies, and they will talk over your head sometimes, where you literally have to say, hey, you mind speaking English, please? You know what I mean?
I believe they call that medical mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, basically. You know what? They be talking like how they write prescriptions. You ever watch how they write prescriptions? You can't even say, what does that say? I don't even see a name. I just see it looked like a heart monitor line. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you
say, dog? Death, taxes, and doctor's handwriting.
Yeah, like
it's always gonna be a definite.
Your handwriting look like a lifeline or something. Like, man, I can't even read it. So that's how they talk sometimes. Like, you can't even understand what they're saying.
So John and Denise, rightfully so, is like, hey, could you break that down for us?
In layman terms, yeah, basically.
Yeah. Less of the bigger words. Just say it straight out, straightforward. You don't need to give me the terms.
Right.
Just tell me exactly what it is, word for word.
And they do. And that's basically how they explain it to him, that this heart is 3 times larger. He really needs a heart transplant ASAP. And when I say ASAP, I mean ASAP, because, you know, Denzel, you know, he wants to know, like, well, okay, let's say we don't get this, you know, operation. How long does he have? And he's like, months, weeks, days, right? You know, and you're like, and bro, right, this part right here, when they tell him that, and his wife just breaks down, bro. You feel that,
bro.
You feel that, bro, because you was like
immediately, bro.
And
my 9-year-old kid, who
yes,
was just perfectly fine to me. Everything was going good. Everything was, and then now this.
And
Ooh.
and
no
this
parent wants to hear that.
No parent wants to hear that. And this is what I'm talking about, going back into the black father and the strength of this father, not necessarily just the black father, but the strength of this father at this moment while he's hearing this, trying to hear it. Because you know, at one point in time, you know, they were talking, of course, the lady we talking about, Anne Hecht's character, you know, playing Rebecca Payne, you know, she's practically telling him, hey, that insurance that you turned in, because I don't know if you noticed, bro, there was a bit of a pause when the hospital staff first initially asked him for his information, you know, his name, the address, and so forth and so on. And she was like, hey, an insurance? You know, he kind of paused a little bit, right? You know, almost like he didn't have insurance or something, right? But he did.
Yeah, he had a look on his face. He had a look.
Yeah,
I got mad nervous at that look when I first saw it too. I was like, oh no, I've been in this spot.
Yeah, you don't have insurance, right?
When you ain't got it.
Oh.
And they say, well, stabilize them, pack them on up.
Yep.
I've seen it happen, and I know what that does to people.
Right.
So I was like, don't let that be the case.
Yeah.
But then he was like, pulled it out the wallet, handed it to him.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I got insurance. And actually, man, it's an important lesson because what we don't do, let's just be honest, men, we don't really go to the hospital like we should, get checked, you know, get our checkups and so forth and so on, and try to get ahead of stuff. You know what I mean? We wait till literally like we broke down and we got to go. And my biggest fear always is, you know, we really could have helped you if you had just come in, you know what I'm saying, months ago.
Ooh, I never want to hear those words, brother. Trust me.
God. So men.
I know you're going to listen to this review so you can hold me to it.
Yes, absolutely. I'm like, you remember what you said because I got it on record. Men, please.
It's on audio record now.
Let's go. Yeah, let's.
I was going to say, I want to point out too, Price, that it's not only just Men's Mental Health Month. You know what I'm saying? But our mental, our physical, our temple, we need to make sure that we are taking care of it and we are on top of it, especially now that it feels like it's coming sooner. You know how they say every decade or so, like, you know, you should get checked for this in your 50s. Now we got to the decade where it's like, oh, well, you should really start getting checked for it in your 40s. Some early signs of that. Now we starting to get to the point where you should be getting checked in your 30s.
Yep.
Because you have early signs of this and early signs of, but we ignore it because, oh, I feel great. I feel fine. I'm Mr. Invincible. I'm Superman. I'm good. And we are Superman, but we all know that green glow stick still hurts Superman at the end of the day.
I'm just saying.
We got to make sure that we are getting checked.
Exactly. And that's basically the importance of that scene for me, is that we don't check into our insurance like we should. I mean, we get it because we're supposed to have it and so forth and so on, but we don't really go and use it. If you're paying for it, why not go and use it? Take advantage of it. Take advantage, man. So
take advantage, man. And y'all know y'all want that day off anyway. Y'all work hard enough as it is. Take the day.
That part. You know,
get that appointment, man.
And so that part resonated with me because I'm like, yes, I got to a point where I'm like, look, man, I'm paying for it. I'm gonna go, see about it. So I am up more on what my insurance covers and what it does, and how I can use it in my benefit. And so when we get to the part where they're basically like, you have insurance, yes, but your insurance doesn't cover this operation alone is about $150,000. Okay, $150,000, man, and that was in 2002, by the way.
Right.
Right.
we don't want to have to get into what it is now.
what it is now, exactly. And so
in 2002, we talking about 150. That's
and so watching that part right there, bro, where the doctor's breaking down what's going on, the hospital administrator, she's basically cutting off everything they're trying to do and say, and just straight cold with it. She's all about numbers.
That was one of my gripes, but at the same time, that's real life. That's I can't actually be mad at that because that is someone's job is to do that. And not only that, I just feel like tact is empathy is what we lack in America nowadays. In this beautiful country. So I just feel like there was an easier way. She came across so cold. So I shut this door. Why are y'all still in front of it?
Yep.
Stop knocking at this door. It's already, like, you know what I'm saying? You have to understand, these are they don't want to bury their 9-year-old son who was just trying to steal second base.
Yep.
And now we're in the hospital.
And now we're in the hospital. And you know, like I said, but she had to be that antagonist because that is a reflection of real life. Like I said, like the director, he went through this with his daughters. No telling what he went through and what he experienced. But I guarantee you, it was something like that because he had to make sure that was in here. You know, period. Now, in defense of her, she does have a job. She is responsible for answering to people above her as well. So I do want to point that out, that
everybody got a boss.
Everybody has a boss, and you cannot save everyone. That's just impossible. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
You know, you're talking about resources.
It is, but if you want to get political, we can get political. But that's not this type of podcast. So we can say that for another day.
So, you know, we got to be realistic. I definitely understand what she was trying to say. However, still, it was brought about in a cold manner, very uncaring and everything, especially when you see these people going through what they're going through, which, like I said, the mom is breaking down. The father's like, he's trying to hold her like, baby, I know this is rough. You know, she's crying and doing all this stuff. And he's crying and he literally had to tell them like, y'all, I'm sorry. This is a lot. Okay. This is a lot. And at one time, this is a lot. And while you're telling me that this is what's going on with my son, you're also telling me that that's nothing I can do about it because you guys won't cover anything. And, you know, you won't even try to make the attempt to help us.
Which was to me was a part of the Code Act. Like, you were already basically telling his family, listen, prepare to bury your son. There's nothing more you could do. Now, out her mouth said, well, there's options, but you should probably just get ready to bury your son. It's basically how that came off to me.
Oh, without a doubt.
It's like, ooh.
But this is why the director was firing on all cylinders. The way you feel is exactly the way you were supposed to feel. Why is she acting that way? She knows she had to do that and da 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 da. Exactly. That's why what happens later on in the film makes that moment just that more powerful. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because things change. People can change. God can change your heart. You know what I'm saying? He can change minds, man. You know what I'm saying? And turn things around. Okay, believe me. So, yeah. So this is what we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. We are dealing with a doctor who doesn't necessarily not want to do it, but he has to listen to this person next to him, the administrator, who's telling him, yeah, but you're not going to be able to do this because they're not going to have the money. And I run the show. You're working in my hospital, and that's just what it is. So there's a moment, bro. There's a montage of just them trying all these different
American health care system.
Yeah.
At its finest, at its peak.
Exactly.
Is the montage that we watched.
Yeah. And watch them get denied at the denial. And bro, let me tell you, there's that one part where he gets up to the front of the line. Now he's already been in line, but they get up to the front of the line. They get up and talk to the dude, and the dude is like, "Oh yeah, no, you're in the wrong line. You know,
line 15.
Yeah, you're in line. You need to get another line." And they like, "What?" Okay, so they fine. Okay, fine. They go over and walk over to the line, and they're like, right here. And the dude points to the back of the line, like, no, you need to go all the way to the back. Bro, you know how like heartbreaking that is, man? You already frustrated going through the stuff. You've been standing in line in this hot office all day, and they tell you that you're in the wrong line, And you're like, why y'all don't have signage up there making sure that people don't get in the wrong lines? Why are you saying, why you can't just see me right quick? You know what I'm saying?
What are we doing? What are we doing, man?
Oh,
Where's the signage to where? And then we did all this. Oh man, because it just makes the next part that you're about to say it hurt even worse. But we get to the back of that line, right? We're doing everything that we need to do. We're selling things on the side, picking up extra gigs. We're getting accumulative money together, making payments, little by little by little, to the point where, okay, we get a response letter
for an appeal.
Our appeal. First thing we say, great, we made some progress. Let's take this back. And Price, what happens after this?
Man, you know what? And it's funny because they send you back to this cold-hearted woman, right? And they make you hate her guts, man. You're like, oh, if I could just I'll wring her neck. You know what I'm saying? So she looks at the paperwork, and this part right here stings, bro, because it's almost reflective of what he just went through with that guy in the line. She was like, no, you filled out the wrong paperwork. You were supposed to fill out a 950B. You know, you filled out a 958. You know what I'm saying? You like, woman, are you
supposed to fill a grievance?
Wait.
Not an appeal.
Wait. Bro, come on, dog. I'm just like, man, you feel so bad for him, man, because he is trying, and every time he looks around, just denial after denial, door closed in his face. And you're just like, are y'all serious, man? Y'all gonna let this man's son die? You're not even gonna try to help him out. She was just so detached from humanity, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was a robot. I just
Agreed, bro.
Good God. It makes you, but you know what? Again, that's good directing, because it made me feel so angry toward that woman. And I don't even know that woman. You know what I'm saying? But I couldn't stand her. Boy, I couldn't stand her.
She definitely played her role to the T. I gotta shout her out for that though.
And
because, you know, you love to hate her.
You love to hate her
at this point. And
so we're getting back into a corner now, bro. I mean, stuff done got real. We have no other option. We're just losing every time. Every time we turn around, we're losing, right? And just like you said, bro, he has sold everything. Even to the last part where we see he is selling his truck. Now, how are they gonna get around? You know what I'm saying? Her car's repoed. He just sold his truck, and they still don't have enough. I think when he tallied up, man, I think he might have had 16,000 at the last tally up that I saw.
Yeah.
And
so then you match that with what the insurance can give you. You're still way behind from where you need to go.
Yeah. Now I will point out, yes, the whole operation is 150,000, but to just get his son's name on the donors list, just to get his name on the list is $75,000, man.
Mind y'all, we just told y'all we at 36 right now. We making headway, but we still got to get to 75 just to get the name on the list.
That's cold, bro. That's cold, dog. That I mean, it hurts even saying that, dog. So, if y'all don't know, if you back a man into a corner, okay, he's going to come out swinging. It's going to happen. You've given him no choice. And
he was swinging
he was
swinging
Yeah, and everybody has their breaking point. And we got a chance to see John's, because keep in mind, like I said before, got the car repoed. You know, she's like, John, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? You know, right? So she already made him feel some kind of way, but you understand, she's frustrated. And she's like, you're my man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're the man of the house. I just expect a little more out you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I provide, protect, do all these things, right? Bro,
mind you, that comes from a place of frustration that you don't know where to point it to. Obviously, the closest thing to you is what gets it. And John was the closest thing to Denise, so that at the time. Was it right? No, but at the same time, that's where a misplaced anger came out.
Absolutely.
We all imperfect. We're imperfect, dog.
Mm-hmm.
Man, woman, child, cats, dogs. We're all imperfect.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna behave perfectly. We're not gonna respond perfectly in situations every single time.
Right. And you know, and the general notion or idea though is that, you know, we're tough, right, bro? You know, we can take it. You know what I'm saying? We can take a little punch or two or something like that. You know, let me get this out. You know, but just like you said, man. You know, was it right? No, but you do understand why. You feel what I'm saying? You know, so she basically is like calling him like, hey, our son is about to die. What you mean our son is about to die? John, our son is about to die. They are about to release him right now. Like, I just paid them. I just gave him $2,000. What are you talking about? It doesn't matter. It's a wrap. They're about to release him. So, and we already know he only has months, weeks, or days. So our son is about to die. And these words right here, bro. Whew. John, you need to do something. And he started talking. I'm not trying to hear all that. You need to do something. And it's funny because it was such a loaded statement. You know what I'm saying? Because she wasn't specific. She didn't say, you need to go hold these people hostage. You need to she didn't say none of that.
She definitely didn't. And she even says that later on in the film. When I told him that was the last thing I expected him to do.
Uh-huh.
Which is 100% true. Now, when she said that statement, it was not for John to go hold the hospital up hostage. But as Price, as you alluded to, everyone has their breaking point. Doors are getting closed in your face. The price is getting higher and higher. You're running out of options. You're running out of time. You need and want to save your son.
Yep. So
your back is not only against the wall, but it feel like the wall in front of you has already closed in, and you're looking at that wall about to smush you to the other wall. How do you react?
Well, if you're John Q, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you go get you a pistol, you know what I'm saying? You go get that biscuit, you get that heat, and you're like, you know what? Hey, I have nothing else to lose. I have done everything. I have nothing else to lose. And man, when he goes up to that hospital, bro, and he's like, hey, and it's funny because the doctor's talking to somebody at the moment. You know what I mean? He's a little, he try to be a little respectful. You know, he try to give him a little moment, but he like, nah. I didn't talk to you, bro.
No, don't ask him. Don't tell another man how soon he can be back on that golf course when my son is on that table dying.
You feel me? I need to holler at you right quick, bro. And man, he took him over there, dog. Like, hey man, what is going on, man? Y'all kicking my son out? What is it? I just paid y'all. What is going on? And the attitude of the doctor. That's why I was saying James Woods plays duality well, because it wasn't that he was a bad guy, but at that moment, that was just the wrong thing to say to a man whose son is dying. To just like, look, I'm sorry, ain't nothing else I can do. You know what I mean? Yeah, they about to kick him out, so I'm sorry. Sorry for your loss. You know, and he like. Yeah, I'm sorry for your loss, because you just lost the rest of your day. You about to come with me, homeboy. You know what I'm saying? And right here, this is where it starts, dog. It shoots up to 10, past 10. You know what I'm saying? I think we're on 15. It goes down, bro. My man is coming in there, man. You know, like he shutting stuff down. He locking doors. You saw a couple people got out of there. They ain't waste no time. They was like, see, they like me. I don't need to kind of see what's going on. I just need to see a little commotion. I'm up out the door. You know what I mean? I'll watch on the news on what happened. You know what I'm saying? So they got up out of there, bro, quick. But there were, of course, a few people that they was in there. They didn't know what was going on, couldn't move around fast enough, and they got stuck in there, you know.
Yeah, man. They didn't proceed with caution. You feel me? Because it wasn't even supposed to be one of those like they got that warning. It just so by happenstance that those other people got that alert and was able to get on out of there. But like you said, the other people that just weren't alert to it or who needed immediate attention and couldn't go anywhere, hey man, you an ends to a mean.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And they became the hostages of John Q, who decided, look, man, I have no other choice. I need to take take at least this doctor hostage and bargain for my son's life, because that's pretty much what it was. And there's another thing I'm gonna bring up, Dan, that let me know that he pretty much didn't have a plan after that. Period. This is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna see it play out. And all I do know is that before this night ends, my son is getting that heart transplant. That's happening. Y'all putting him on that list for sure, because that's what he wanted. He just wanted his name on the list. But y'all putting him on that list. So, there's a lot of moments, man, and of course we can go, scene by scene, which y'all know we don't do here. But there's certain things that are happening at this moment which I feel like are very important to mention. As John Q is taking over, this hospital, of course, these people don't know him. All they know him as the gunman. You got a lady who's in there pregnant. You got another one with a sick kid screaming. You got somebody else who's looks like they've been in a car accident, but you don't quite know. And of course, my man Eddie Griffin. Shout out Eddie Griffin. His hand is bleeding. It's a lot of stuff going on, and all you know is this man has a gun and he might kill us. They don't know anything about his son. But watching how they were able to take it from this fear of him to this sympathy for him and his son to actually looking at him as a hero, it was just amazing. It was an amazing transition to watch, because you got one side who are like, oh, he's committing a crime.
He's an animal. He's a monster.
He's a monster.
He's committed a crime, and he needs to be taken down.
And then now you got another group of people who actually in there with him, and they see and they hear what's going on, and they put themselves in his shoes. Hey, if this was my kid dying, what would I do? And so to watch them have this empathy for him, and their minds shift, and now they're kind of rooting for him. Like I said, man, the way this director put this all together was just anything short of amazing to me, man. Because I'm just like, wow, that all of that could happen.
He made you feel, dog. Like you said, it was down to the directorial way that he shot this. He made you feel, and even if you're not, because I'm not a father, but if I was in that position, I can't look at nobody on this planet in the face and say I wouldn't do anything different than what John Q did.
Right. To save my son, who's 9 years old. Now, I'm an older man. I don't know how old he was. I would imagine they was in their 30s. But my son is going to get a chance to live. And that's all he knew, period. And so everything he did, every action that he did was based upon that. However, there were still moments, even just as simple as the lady calling the hospital and he answered the phone, because of course we thought this would be the hostage negotiator or whatever. But this is just a lady who's trying to bring somebody to the hospital, and he's like, no, you got to go to another hospital. And she's like, I don't know where that hospital is. He literally took his time to give this woman the directions
He said,
to another
what
hospital.
You want to go is, you want to go down Fisher, hang a right, go like, sir, you got a gun in your hand, in your left hand, the phone in your right hand.
Right. You do realize you're holding people hostage, right?
You do realize you got hostages behind you.
Yeah.
Like, sir.
Yeah, stay focused. But that is just to show you how good of a person he actually was. He cared enough about the people that was on the phone trying to bring their hurt person to the hospital. So you get glimpses of him being a really good human being who has just been pushed into a corner. Well, there's other things that happened in here that I felt like this was definitely the director talking to America, basically, because they got a chance to break down the HMOs and, you know what I mean? And just how, really, to be honest with you, they don't do much for you. You know what I'm saying? When you really need it. And it was like, hey, America, I'm talking to you. Hey, health, you know what I'm saying? Health system of America, I'm talking to you right now.
Talking to you.
This is what you could do to somebody else. It's a wake up call. You know what I'm saying? When you push somebody into a corner like that, this is what they could possibly do.
That's still applicable to this day. I mean, there's a certain someone that's facing a certain crime for, for a healthcare You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
well, y'all know the case.
Mhm.
Y'all know the man name.
Mhm.
So I don't need to bring it up, but y'all know what's going on out here. So
Yep.
to the point where that's how prevalent that message was that the director was trying to get across back in 2002.
Before that happened, right? That man might not have done that. You feel what I'm saying? Exactly. So he became a John Q. If that's how you view it, because some people view it, they view it differently. And that's what I was saying, bro, about this movie was that it could make you choose sides. Maybe Denzel wasn't the hero to some people who watched this movie. Maybe those were the 26%ers of Rotten Tomatoes. Who knows? But the thing about it, bro, is there were so many messages in this movie to basically say, hey man, we need to look into this. This could be an issue. This is a problem. You know what I'm saying? So I like it for it being able to preach, but it wasn't too preachy, because there was still so much action and so much other stuff going on that it wasn't just beating you over the head with it. They took a moment, they hit it, and then they came back out of it, and they went back to what John Q needs to do to try to get his son a heart transplant. I think before we go into our numbers, I want to say this, man. Like I said, Denzel is Denzel, and you get all the Denzel stuff. You know, there's certain tropes with Denzel. You know, Denzel's gonna knock something off the table. You know, he's gonna definitely hit you with that famous, okay, all right, okay. You know, he's gonna give you that. That's gonna happen. You know, he's gonna give you the, my son is going to live. You know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna give it to you for real. You understand what I'm saying?
It's gonna Denzel, child.
It's happening, bro. It's happening. And so to see him, bro, like at his peak, I mean, at this point in time, he was a leading man for sure. I mean, he was making like 20 million a movie. You feel what I'm saying? To watch him doing this thing, bro, it was just perfect. But I say all to say that Denzel is Denzel. He doesn't miss. We know that. But they set him up with the right supporting cast for him to bounce off of, and definitely the right woman with Kimberly Elise, because we do know the scene. All you that have watched John Q, you know the scene. I mean, this is where women stand up and like, yeah, girl. Basically, they lie to her to get him to come out of the building. You know what I'm saying? They like, hey, we're gonna put your son on the list, because of course some smart police officer is like, hey, why don't we just tell him the name is on the list? You know. And she tells it to her, but before she tells it to her, all she knows is this is the same woman that keeps denying our stuff, man. And she was like, I don't need you, don't you say nothing to me, because I would tell you how I feel about you, but I'm a Christian woman. You know what I mean? Like, ooh, wee, like that would get you, boy, because it's almost like I actually do want to hear what you want to say, to be honest with you, because she deserves it, that's for sure. But yeah, man. So the supporting cast, even down to Frank.
Shout out Robert Duvall, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no, Robert Duvall did his thing, man, for sure. That we know that was the concierge in The Godfather. You know what I'm saying? For y'all who don't know about that, but Robert Duvall, yes, man, he definitely did his thing. And you actually sided with him. You know what I mean? You're like, yeah, because he got his own battle with Ray Liotta's character, Chief Gus Monroe. He's battling with him because he just wants to, hey, let's just shoot him and let's just, you know what I mean, do the paperwork and go on about our day. You know what I'm saying? Just all this heartless stuff going on. So to have one or two people like Robert Duvall's character, or like some of the hospital staff that was trying to help John Q, it's like, yes, thank you, because God, man, it makes you look at the world like, God, man, everybody's just so cold. But just like we do know in reality, in our reality, there are those few people who are like, they're
good people.
They're just good people. There's choices that have to be made, and from what I saw with Denzel, and it made so much sense later. It was pretty much why when the negotiator said, "Hey, who am I speaking with?" and he was like, "John." And my first thought is, why are you telling him your real name? And he's like, "Well, John, what? Q, which was his middle initial." It made me realize at that moment, bro, he never planned to get away with this or get out of that hospital. His whole thing was, if y'all don't get my son's name on that list, you can have mine.
By any means.
You feel what I'm saying, bro? If that's what it takes,
bruh.
if that's what it takes, you can have mine. So he never planned to get out of it. So why not tell him my real name? Because I ain't getting out of this. You know, he almost turned into his character on Training Day. You want to go to jail? You want to go home? What you want to do? You know what I'm saying? So.
I think though, if I'm not mistaken, those two movies are pretty close.
They are pretty close.
Release. So, you know what I'm saying? Maybe he borrowed a little bit, siphoned a little bit from this movie, from that movie. You know, I can see it. He's a well-rounded actor, so.
And of course, it's sad to say we all know how this thing goes. I mean, he should have gotten Best Actor for Malcolm X. He could have gotten Best Actor for this one as well. But you know, of course, you know, he had to turn bad in order to get it. But again, man, story for another day.
Politics, man. Politics, man. That's all it is.
So yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into this thing, man, because I know we've kept their attention for a while, but I'm gonna go ahead and just let y'all know exactly how I feel about this movie. Denzel brings it. Let me just say this. Everybody brings it, because even down to Anne Height's character, yes, we cannot stand Rebecca Payne, but come on, man, she played that role like crazy, you know? And I'm impressed with what she had to do, because I don't know what it took for her to play that role, to be as almost as evil as she was acting. I don't know what it took for her and what it took out of her, because she could be the sweetest, nicest person in the world, but she had to go to a certain place, a certain darkness, to bring out that, you know, that role that she did, and that's why we love to hate her. Kimberly Elise, of course, as well. You know, playing a mom, you know, a mom who's put in that position, who, yes, while initially she was breaking down and she didn't know what to do, but you could see that strength building back in her faith in God. You could see all of that strengthening as this was going, as she was like, look, I got to be here strong for my kid. You know, I got to be here strong for my husband. It's not his fault. I know he's going to do what he's got to do. So the role that she played, going all the way back to the beginning of the movie, you get a chance to see her do exactly what she should do. And that is stand behind her man, stand up for her man, stand up for her family, not turn on her man, even if the police, as they do, try to use their, you know, the spouses against the other person or their partner. But to watch her hold true to that and say, look here, man, you ain't slick. You think you about to get me to go against my husband? It ain't happening. I don't know you, fool. I know him though. You know what I'm saying? And I know he got my back, and I know he got my son's back. And whatever he did it with good intentions, and I'm gonna stand behind that. And that's basically what you want to see when it comes to a family, you know, a strong family. That is basically what you want to see. And so all of that, while I'm watching this movie, was so believable to me. It was so heartfelt, and it was so emotional. So for all the emotional beats, it hit them all every single time. There wasn't really too many moments in it that dragged for me. But for other people that, you know, maybe the little bit of the preaching moment about healthcare and so forth and so on, that might have taken them out of it if they just wanted to see more of action and drama. But just keep in mind, that was that moment for that director to get on his soapbox and say how he felt, because I just don't know what he experienced with his own daughter, Sasha. I do feel like probably maybe a little more character development on some of the supporting actors that were in there. Some of them you didn't really get a good background on, like Eddie Griffin's character. You didn't get too much more of a background on him. You just knew that he was in here for a hurt hand. So I would have liked to have gotten a little bit more story on some of those people, because I think that would have made the emotions hit a little bit harder as well, especially when you came down to him releasing or keeping certain hostages for certain reasons. So for that, anyway, that'll probably just be my ding. So now for my number. 23 years later, I didn't well up the way that I welled up the first time, of course, because I already know what was happening. But the emotion is still there. Denzel was in his prime. He was doing his thing. I felt it all the way. And I still feel like right now, if somebody wants to watch this movie for a Father's Day movie, you want to watch it with your father, I feel like you're going to get all the feels that you should get. So for me, Yeah, think about an 8.8.
I just want to preface this before I start with I was 6 years old. Not to reiterate that and drive that point home, but I was 6 years old when this movie came out, right? As a 30-year-old man who's on the verge and on the life path to trying to start a family, not soon, but eventually. Now, I'll tell y'all this. I didn't weep. I didn't cry like my co-host told me I would. But as he said, and he hit the nail with the hammer, the emotional feels are all there. Everything is there. Listen, I'm a sucker for storytelling. If you're new here, I'm a sucker for storytelling. That's why I watch wrestling. I'm a sucker for a good story. And when it has elements of realistic components, such as a father's love for his family and a father's love for his son, you got me. Hook, line, and sinker. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like Price, me and you are similar on a lot of our takes. Could Eddie Griffin's character, could Mitch and all them be dove into a little bit more? Absolutely. To help us kind of well-rounded and feel for it a little bit more, so that, like you said, the transition of everybody and the hostages, like, can't believe it, this guy needs to go, he's a bad guy too. Yeah, but I kind of understand it. Okay, I kind of understand what he's doing now. Oh, he's my hero. I would take a bullet for John Q type of redemption that we see here. It would have made more sense and it would have hit home harder. But I still feel like they told a compelling story. I still feel like it reels you in from the jump. You know what I'm saying? And it's very relatable. 23 years later, I think it still holds up. Not only about the message of healthcare, but the component of family holds up to this day as well.
Mm-hmm.
So without trying to reiterate a lot of the things that you said, I would probably, I know you're sitting at an 8.8. I'm gonna have to give it a 9. I'm gonna have to give it a 9, dog. That'll be where I sit at with this movie. And I think truthfully that's where my heart lies, because it still ropes you in. It's a great story. They told it phenomenally. The director, hats off to him, because it's a great watch for anybody. And again, I know we preface this as black fathers, but really for any if you're a father on this planet, if you're a family person on this planet, you'll understand and you'll get it.
No doubt. Well said, my man. Well said. That rounds us out at an 8.9. You know, I love it. And I agree with you, bro. I agree with you for sure. But of course, you know how we got to do, man. We got to give him that QOTD.
Yes. Well, for today's quote of the day, it reads, "We can't always choose the music life plays for us, but we can choose how we dance to it." And that's apropos, man, because I want to plug that Peanut song from the Carter 6, y'all are hating on it. Y'all don't see the vision. You know what I'm saying? A different story for a different time.
You just had to do it, to you.
Just saying, man. I'm just saying.
Oh, man. Nah, that's funny. All right, so, of course, y'all know how we end this off, man. This the hangout mantra, y'all. It's not the quantity of people. It's the quality. Y'all, please make sure that you like. And subscribe.
Subscribe.
And if you don't turn on your notifications, I'm going to send John Q after you, man. You don't want that, man. You don't want them problems, yo. I'm telling you. It'll happen.
I promise you. Come on now. If y'all can help me get Price that birthday gift, I would appreciate it. I know he would appreciate it. Shout out to my brother. Another lap around the sun, as they say.
No doubt.
I love you, boy.
I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, that would be a lovely birthday gift if we got to that 500, man. But no, appreciate that, man. And of course, you shouted me out. I got to shout out the best producer in the world, Timmy, the producer. Timmy, thank you. You know, we couldn't do this without you. You know what I mean? So thank you.
Timmy.
Yeah. Yeah, so this her being here as our producer is a birthday gift and a Father's Day gift at the same time, and it's just a gift every day. You know what I mean? So we appreciate her always. Thank y'all for sticking around. I know this was a long one, but it's John Q, man. It's John Q. You know what I mean? And it's Father's Day. And if you can't give the fathers a little bit more of your time, come on, what are you really doing, man? Come on. So for all you fathers out there, thank y'all. Thank y'all for everything that you've done and continue to do for us. We love you. You know what I mean? And if you know what I'm saying, if you get a chance, man, just hug them, call them, shout them out. All right? Shout them out.
And for the ones who have lost their fathers.
Yes.
You know, think about them a little more. You know, think about a memory, some music that y'all have shared, memories that y'all have shared. You know, look up in the sky, talk to them for a little bit. Just let them know that you're still thinking about them.
No doubt. Absolutely. Well said, my brother. Well said. Because that's exactly what I would be doing. All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. Please make sure you join us next time on the Hangout. We love you. Peace.
Goodbye, everyone.